Arthur Finch, at 50, was a monument in the London culinary scene. Not a flashy celebrity chef monument, but a sturdy, reliable one. He was the head chef at the Golden Spoon, a restaurant renowned for its classic English fare, elevated by Arthur's mastery. He wasn't just a cook, he was an artist, a historian, a guardian of tradition. His roast beef was legendary, his fish and chips divine, and his sticky toffee pudding was, simply put, perfect. Or so everyone thought. Arthur had spent 30 years honing his skills, from washing dishes as a teenager to graduating from culinary school and working his way up the ranks. He had dedicated his life to understanding the nuances of flavor, the alchemy of ingredients, and the satisfying rhythm of a busy kitchen. He knew every cut of meat, every herb, every spice like the back of his hand. He was a master of his craft, and he knew it. The Golden Spoon thrived under his command. Regular patrons lined up every night, eager to taste the comfort and sophistication that only Arthur could deliver. Critics lauded his commitment to quality and his unwavering respect for tradition. Arthur took pride in his work, believing that he provided not just food, but an experience, a taste of England, seasoned with skill and love. One Tuesday evening, the usual dinner rush was in full swing. The kitchen hummed with controlled chaos as orders poured in. Arthur, a calm and commanding presence amidst the frenzy, orchestrated the dance of chefs, each perfectly synchronized to his instructions. Then, a message came from the front of house. Table 7 was complaining about the shepherd's pie. Arthur frowned. The shepherd's pie was a classic, a staple of the Golden Spoon's menu, and a particular source of pride for him. It was made with slow-cooked lamb, a rich gravy, a medley of precisely measured vegetables, and topped with a cloud of perfectly browned mashed potatoes. It was, in his opinion, a masterpiece. The waitress, a young woman named Chloe, approached him hesitantly. "Chef Finch, the customer at table 7. She says it's a little bland. She thinks it could use more spice." Arthur's eyebrows shot up. "Rand? Spice? In my shepherd's pie? Okay." He couldn't believe his ears. He had meticulously crafted the recipe over years, aiming for a balanced, comforting flavor profile. Spice was not part of the equation. He prided himself on letting the quality of the ingredients shine through, not masking them with excessive seasoning. "Yes, chef." She suggested perhaps a pinch of chili flakes, or maybe a dash of smoked paprika. Chloe looked apologetic, clearly uncomfortable being the messenger. Arthur sighed, pinching the bridge of his nose. "Chili flakes? Paprika? In a shepherd's pie? Unthinkable!" Exclamation point. He gestured to the bustling kitchen. "Chloe, we are a respected establishment. We serve authentic, classic English cuisine. We don't desecrate our dishes with trendy spices." He considered dismissing the complaint outright, but years of experience had taught him that ignoring customer feedback, no matter how absurd it seemed, was rarely a good idea. Besides, the reputation of the Golden Spoon was on the line. "Fine," he conceded, his voice tight. "Bring me back the plate. I'll see what the problem is." Chloe returned moments later with a half-eaten plate of shepherd's pie. Arthur examined it closely. It looked perfect. The lamb was tender, the vegetables vibrant, the mashed potatoes golden brown. He smelled it, inhaling the familiar aroma of thyme, rosemary, and the slow-cooked lamb. He couldn't detect a single flaw. He took a small bite. The flavors were exactly as he intended, hearty, comforting, and balanced. "There's nothing wrong with this," he declared, his voice laced with irritation. "It's perfectly cooked." End quote. "I know, chef," Chloe said softly. "But the customer—" "The customer is clearly mistaken," Arthur interrupted. "Tell her that I appreciate her feedback, but the shepherd's pie is prepared according to our traditional recipe, and we believe it is of the highest quality." Chloe, looking defeated, retreated to table 7. Arthur watched her go, muttering under his breath about the audacity of some customers. Later that evening, as the kitchen was winding down, Arthur found himself still thinking about the shepherd's pie incident. The woman's suggestion of adding chili flakes or paprika continued to irk him. He couldn't understand why anyone would want to alter such a classic dish. He decided to make another shepherd's pie, just to reassure himself that he hadn't lost his touch. He meticulously followed his recipe, measuring each ingredient with precision. As he tasted the finished product, He had to admit, it was excellent. But as he savored the familiar flavors, a tiny seed of doubt began to sprout in his mind. Was it possible that he had become too complacent? Had he become so attached to his traditional recipes that he was closed off to new ideas? He had spent so long perfecting his craft that he had forgotten that even the best dishes could sometimes benefit from a little tweaking. The next morning, Arthur arrived at the restaurant earlier than usual. He found Chloe setting up the front of house.
"Chloe," he said,
"I want to talk to you about last night." Chloe looked surprised. "About the shepherd's pie, chef?"
"Yes," Arthur replied. "I've been thinking about what the customer said."
I still disagree with her suggestion, but I realize that I may have been a bit dismissive. I pride myself on being open to new ideas, and I don't want to become stuck in my ways.
Chloe smiled. "That's good to hear, chef. I want to try something," Arthur continued.
I want you to make a shepherd's pie, your way.
Add whatever spices you think it needs.
I'll taste it, and I promise to be open-minded. Chloe's eyes widened.
"Really, chef? You want me to make a shepherd's pie for the menu?"
"Not necessarily for the menu," Arthur said, "but I want to see what you can do.
Consider it a challenge.
And don't be afraid to experiment." Chloe was thrilled. She had always admired Arthur's cooking, but she also had her own ideas about flavor. She had grown up with a diverse range of cuisines, and she believed that even traditional dishes could be enhanced with unexpected spices and herbs. She spent the rest of the morning researching different spice combinations, carefully considering how they would complement the lamb and vegetables in the shepherd's pie. She decided to use a blend of smoked paprika, a touch of cumin, and a pinch of chili flakes, along with some fresh coriander to brighten the flavors. As she prepared the dish, she was mindful of Arthur's traditional techniques, but she also incorporated her own style. She sautéed the vegetables with the spices to release their aromas, and she added a splash of red wine to the gravy for depth of flavor. She topped the pie with a creamy mashed potato infused with garlic and Parmesan cheese. When the pie was finished, she nervously presented it to Arthur. He examined it carefully, noting the vibrant colors and the fragrant aroma. He took a bite, and his eyes widened in surprise. The flavors were bold and unexpected, yet they worked perfectly together. The smoked paprika added a smoky sweetness, the cumin a warm earthiness, and the chili flakes a subtle kick. The coriander brightened the dish, and the garlic and Parmesan in the mashed potato added a delightful richness. Arthur chewed slowly, savoring the explosion of flavors in his mouth. He had to admit, it was delicious. It was different from his shepherd's pie, but it was equally satisfying. He looked at Chloe, impressed. "This is remarkable," he said, his voice filled with genuine admiration. "You've taken a classic dish and given it a completely new dimension." Chloe beamed. "Thank you, chef. I was a bit nervous about changing your recipe." "Don't be," Arthur said. "You've shown me that even the most perfect dishes can be improved upon. You've reminded me that there's always room for experimentation and innovation."
He paused, considering.
"We're not going to replace my shepherd's pie with yours," he said, "but I think we should offer it as a special. We can call it Chloe's shepherd's pie and give our customers a chance to try something new." Chloe was ecstatic. "That would be amazing, chef." And so, Chloe's shepherd's pie became a sensation at the Golden Spoon. Customers raved about the bold flavors and the innovative twist on a classic dish. Even the woman who had complained about the original shepherd's pie returned to try Chloe's version, and she declared it to be absolutely perfect. Arthur, meanwhile, had undergone a significant transformation. He realized that his years of experience had made him resistant to change. He had become so focused on preserving tradition that he had forgotten the importance of innovation. Chloe's shepherd's pie had opened his eyes to new possibilities, and it had inspired him to experiment with his own cooking. He began to explore new ingredients and techniques, incorporating them into his traditional recipes. He added a hint of saffron to his fish stew, a dash of ginger to his apple crumble, and a sprinkle of toasted sesame seeds to his roast vegetables. He even started using chili flakes in some of his dishes, much to the initial shock of his more traditional patrons. But to his surprise, the customers loved it. They appreciated the subtle changes, the unexpected bursts of flavor, and the sense of excitement that Arthur brought to his cooking. The Golden Spoon became more popular than ever, attracting a new generation of food lovers who were eager to taste Arthur's innovative take on classic English cuisine. Arthur learned a valuable lesson that year. He learned that perfection is not a fixed point, but a journey of continuous improvement. He learned that even the most experienced chefs can benefit from the fresh perspective of a newcomer. And he learned that sometimes, all it takes is a pinch of spice to transform a good dish into something truly extraordinary. He also learned to appreciate the contributions of his younger staff, recognizing that they brought a different kind of knowledge and experience to the kitchen. He started mentoring young chefs like Chloe, encouraging them to experiment and develop their own unique styles. He created a more collaborative environment in the kitchen, where everyone felt empowered to share their ideas and contribute to the creative process. The Golden Spoon continued to thrive under Arthur's leadership, not just as a bastion of traditional English cuisine, but as a place where innovation and creativity were celebrated. And Arthur, the once steadfast guardian of tradition, became a champion of change, always eager to explore new flavors and push the boundaries of his culinary art. He realized that the true spice of life and of cooking was the willingness to learn, to adapt, and to embrace the unexpected.